Welcome to 7th grade math, 6th graders. So now you have two math classes. You have 6th grade math and 7th grade math. And you may be asking yourself, why? What did I just get myself into? And the answer to that is you got yourself onto a path where, as 7th graders, you can take algebra as opposed to 7th grade math because you'll have already had it this year, and you can get high school credit for that. Yes, algebra is worth high school credit even when you take it in 7th grade. And then when you're in 8th grade, you can take geometry, and that's worth honors high school credits. So by the time you get to high school, you'll have already taken two math classes, and the geometry one could potentially get your GPA above a 4.0. So that's why you're doing this, for the chance to enter high school with a high school GPA already above 4.0 when the rest of your peers don't even have a high school GPA yet. And then you'll only need two more credits in high school of math. So it's worth it, in my opinion. And this class is a little bit shorter than your 6th grade math class, and it won't count towards your junior high GPA, so it's not a super stressful course. And a lot of it is stuff that you've already seen, like this first lesson. For example, adding and subtracting positive and negative integers. The reason I didn't say numbers is because we're only going to be adding and subtracting integers for this first week, which is a gift to you because an integer is a whole number. Now, it could be negative. Negative 2 is an integer. What it's not going to be is fractions and decimals. We're not going to get to that till like the second or third standard. So these first three standards in 7th grade math are all going to be stuff that you've seen before. Adding and subtracting. Next one, multiplying and dividing. Next one, same thing, but now with decimals instead of just whole numbers. So it's a little bit of review at the first, and I'm sure you've been taught some rules, oops, that was my geometry slate, on how to do this. And one of those rules might have been something like this. I'm not really sure where you guys pick up these rules at, but it seems like every year you guys already know a bunch of rules. So say you have this, 9 minus 12. I've had students tell me, well, it's a subtraction problem, or you have one of each, like this is a positive 9 and that's a negative 12. So one of each, one positive, one negative means subtract, and you keep the sign of the bigger. So I've never taught it that way, but I think you guys are learning that maybe in elementary school, but maybe not. Maybe you haven't learned that. Regardless, I'm not going to teach it that way. So if you didn't understand what I just said, don't worry about it, because I'm not going to teach you a bunch of rules in here. I think that there's too many rules in math to try and memorize, and they just get confused with each other. Like, for example, if you have negative 9 minus 12, the answer is negative 21, but people want to tell me, well, that's two negatives. I thought two negatives made a positive, and that's an example of getting your rules mixed up. So instead of dropping a bunch of rules on you and having them potentially get mixed up, I'm going to try and relate this standard to money. Everybody knows money, and everybody needs to know more about money. So I'm going to have addition mean a deposit and subtraction mean a withdrawal. So I'm talking in terms of bank accounts, or for you guys, maybe a lunch account. Might be the only account you have right now is your lunch account, and you can just give your lunch number when you go to the cafeteria and they take the money right out of your account. So if they take money out of the account, if you're buying lunch, that's a withdrawal. When you go to get your lunch at the cafeteria and they take the $3, whatever it is, out, you just minus $3 out of your account. They withdrew money out of your account. So I want you to start thinking of subtraction problems as withdrawals, something coming out of your account. And the opposite, an addition problem, would be you go home and you tell your parents, hey, my lunch account's running low. Can you put some more money in there for me so I don't starve to death at school? And they'll say, yeah, sure. I don't want you to go hungry. So they'll deposit money into your account. They'll put money into your account. That's adding something to your account. All right. So adding to your account, depositing, taking out of your account is withdrawing. Now, there's two things that you can put in the account, and there's two things that you can take out of the account, and that's a positive number or a negative number. So let's just say we're dealing with $4 here. If they deposit $4 in your account, that's money. They actually put money in the account. That's a positive number that they put in there. If you add a negative number to your account, that would be like debt. All right? This is the way I try and explain this is, let's say you're at $3 in your account and somebody says, I'm going to add $4 of debt in there. That means you just now all of a sudden owed somebody $4. Now you're essentially at negative $1. They put more debt in there than what you had. So I hope this is going to make sense to you, and I think it will as I start getting into more examples. But basically there's two premises here. You can put something in your account, that's an addition problem. Or you can take something out of the account, that's a subtraction problem, that's a withdrawal. And there's two things that you can put in or take out. You can put in a positive number, which is money, which would make your account go up. Or you could deposit a negative number, which is debt, which would make it go out, would make it go down. And then a withdrawal works the opposite. So let's say you withdraw a positive amount of money. You actually take money out of your account's going down. You're subtracting money out of your account. But let's say you withdraw a negative amount of money. That means you're taking out debt. You're getting rid of debt. You're withdrawing. You're subtracting out of your account debt. That's good. That means you don't owe that money anymore. That means your account's going up. So minus a negative makes your account go up. That's why the rule minus a negative is the same thing as adding, because it makes your account go up. All right. So if you think of adding and subtracting positive and negative numbers this way as your lunch account, as money, I think it'll make sense to you. So let me give you some examples here. Let's say you have the problem -7 plus 5. You want to look at this first number as the starting point in your account. So since you're starting at -7, that means you don't have any money in your lunch account. In fact, you overdrew it by $7. You bought $7 more worth of food than you even had in there. So you owe the school $7. You're $7 in debt. And then you're adding something into your account, a positive number. All right, that's a positive 5. So when it's a positive number, we don't have to write the little plus sign there. If this was adding debt, if this was going to be a negative number, adding a negative number, you would see the little negative there. So since you don't see a negative, we're just adding money into your account. So you started at -7, you added $5 in your account. Well, that wasn't enough to get you back to even. You're still $2 in debt. All right. Let's say you added a negative number. Let's say you added debt to your account. So you're starting at -7. You're going to add something into your account. You're putting something into the account. You're depositing a negative number. You're adding more debt into your account. Well, that's not really what you want. That's going to put you farther in debt. That's going to put you at -12. You're going down $5 more. Now you owe $12 instead of $7. All right, let's switch up and just subtract. -7 minus 5. So again, this 5 is technically money. It's a positive number because you don't see the little positive there. You don't write it if it's positive. So you're starting at -7. You have $7 in debt, and you're withdrawing $5 from your account. Well, you don't even have $5 in there. You're at -7. So if you take out more money, you're going to be farther in debt. -7 minus 5 puts you all the way down to -12. All right, and you can also look like this. Let's say it's a double negative. Let's say you're subtracting $5 in debt, minus a minus, the old minus the minus thing. All right, you're starting at -7. We're still at the same starting point. You're withdrawing. You're taking something out of the account, and this time you're taking out debt. You're taking out $5 that you owe. Well, if you owed 7 and you're subtracting out 5 that you owe, now you only owe $2. You're at negative 2. So if you remember back, that was the same exact thing as this. Those give you the same answers. This is adding $5 into your account. This is taking out $5 in debt. It means the same thing. It just gives you a visual, it gives you some kind of an analogy to use in your head, to give you something to relate it to real life, as opposed to just knowing a bunch of rules. Well, minus and minus means plus, and we've got a minus and a plus, and a minus and a plus means minus, and you keep the sign of the bigger. It's like, what? What did you just say? And those are just a bunch of rules that you have to think through in your head, as opposed to just taking it slow, one problem at a time, and saying, okay, my first number is negative, so I'm in debt. I'm taking something out of my account. I'm taking a negative amount out of my account. I'm taking debt out of my account. That's good. You don't want debt in your account. You want money in there. So if you're taking out debt, your account's going up. If you're adding money in your account's going up. You're not going to owe as much money anymore. So that's why these two are the same. So I hope that works for you. I'm going to keep drilling these analogies and examples of money into your head for the next 2 or 3 weeks here. And by the end of that time, if you come to me and say, you're crazy, your method isn't working for me, then I'll try and show you some different tricks. And honestly, I'm probably going to show you those along the next 2 weeks anyways, just because ultimately I do like to show as many different ways to do a problem as possible, and then you guys can do the one that makes the most sense to you, whatever's easiest for you. I'm not trying to tell you how to do things. I'm just trying to show you different ways to do things, and you've probably never been showed or explained it this way before, so I'm just trying to add another tool in your toolbox there that you can use to try and figure out problems. And that's what math is all about, really, is problem solving. So the more strategies, the more ways you have to try and solve a problem, the more likely you are to be able to figure it out. And that's the ultimate goal.